Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Stellar Bowl in Greenwich Village, Colorado. This is an amateur sports production of the Eaglecrest Raptors with a 2-0 record and homecoming football game against the visiting Rangeview Raiders, who have an 0-2 record coming into this game. The rain and clouds hang over the stadium, but so far the rain has held off, although a few drops are now starting to fall. Hopefully, if the rain can stay off, this will be a good game, as the Raptors have adopted no excuses as their motto this year. However, rain on AstroTurf can give you a lot of excuses because that ball gets slippery, the field's extremely slippery, and as some lightning pops off to the west, they may have to call this game because you can't have players on the field with lightning in the area. And there's the thunder backing up the lightning. So we'll have to see what happens with the weather. Otherwise, it should be a good game. The Eaglecrest Raptors, highly rated, have run over a couple of opponents on their way to homecoming. Rangeview Raiders have suffered a couple of tough setbacks, but are looking to regroup today. We'll be right back with the starting kickoff. The rain starts to fall in earnest here at the Stettler Bowl as the clouds moving from the west over to the east are dropping the precipitation that everyone was hoping that would hold off until the game was over. So weather may play a factor in this game today. I think probably the weather affects Rangeview more as they like to throw the ball. Eaglecrest with Damian Brown likes to put the ball in the big guy's hands and let him run. Eaglecrest, of course, has the big offensive line that's opened some amazing holes for Brown so far this season. So if the weather factors either team, I'd say the slight edge goes to Eaglecrest on the slick AstroTurf. The Rangeview Raiders, however, get the first chance to show what they've got as they'll get the opening kickoff. They'll defend the north goal. And the players head out on the field as the rain begins in earnest. Some very big drops falling now here at the Stettler Bowl. This is always an adventure on kickoffs because the ball is hard to handle as is, and when it's wet and slippery, it's even worse. And on top of that, there's a slight wind and a little bit of a chill, so that makes it even harder. Fingers and joints tend to stiffen up a little bit, and that ball can really feel like it's concrete coming in on the reception. So number 12 for Eaglecrest, Jason Rogers gets ready to kick it off. You got Randy Martin, Courtney Goodgain, and Chris Murray back to receive the kickoff for the Raiders. And we're about 3 seconds away from kickoff on this homecoming Saturday for the Eaglecrest Raptors. Rogers waits for the signal now. Referees indicate they're ready. And this game is underway. Rogers gets a good foot into that. That's Chris Murray there at the 20. Looking for the corner. He's got blockers ahead of him. He gets out. He's out. He's over the 50. He's to the 40, 30, 20, 5, 10, 5. Touchdown. I don't see any flags. And the Rangeview Raiders steal the thunder from the Eaglecrest Raptors on the opening kickoff as Chris Murray goes about 85 yards for the opening touchdown. Wow, what a way to start the ball game. I tell you what, that takes the wind out of the Raptors' sails. They were fired up for their homecoming crowd. They got a good crowd on hand, but Chris Murray puts momentum squarely in the Raiders' court as he takes the opening kickoff all the way back for a touchdown. And I tell you what, I've seen him a couple times this year. Chris Murray has got some speed, and he isn't afraid of anybody because it looked like the Raptors had him wrapped up around the 40. He squirted through a couple tackles, and he was gone like a shot up the Rangeview sideline all the way for the touchdown. Jason Campbell, the sophomore kicker for Rangeview, lines up, try the extra point to make it 7-zip. Marcus Stanton has the hold. Jason Campbell has a good leg. Bad hold, gets it down, and it's good. The Eaglecrest Raptors take a 7-0 lead here at the Stettler Bowl. And with 11, are you done? All right, the Raptors are back to take the kickoff. That's Terrell Cameron back, along with Damian Brown, both a couple of speedsters, and they would like nothing better than to show Rangeview that they can do the same thing and take this kickoff all the way back. Jason Campbell, the big sophomore kicker from Rangeview, tees the ball up. And boy, the Raptors have to be looking to prove something here as the Rangeview Raiders take the opening kickoff and lead 7-0 with only 11:46 remaining in that first quarter. Rangeview bunches everybody up behind Campbell. Now they hit to spread out. More lightning popping off to the west. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Campbell waits for the signal. He gets it, puts a big foot into it, high. It's one of the upbacks for Eaglecrest, catches it at the 20. He tries to turn the corner, got some good speed. That's Blaine Douglas, one of the upbacks for Rangeview, who makes the smart call, gets the ball, heads it up, and it looks like the referees will spot it at about the 33-yard line, and the Raptors will start business right there. Now the Raptors have some good size on the offensive line. Rangeview lacking a bit in size, but these guys really fly to the ball, swarming all over the field. Let's see what the Raptors can do. Brown dots the I, splits up to the top. And that's Terrell Cameron getting the pitch out of the backfield, hits the corner, turns it upfield to a nice gain to about the 40-yard line. Make it about the 39.5. Raptors break the huddle. That's Bryce Hedrick, the quarterback. He's under center. Brown again dots, Damian Brown again dots the I. And they go to Brown. First man through the gap. He's refusing to go down. 4 or 5 Rangeview tacklers there on that. And they finally swarm him under at about the 47-yard line. Damian Brown, a true speedster. He's got some great speed, and he's a fierce competitor. As you saw in that last play, he's not going to go down on 1 or 2 hits, and you have to really wrap him up because he's going to be fighting for every bit of yardage he can get. Raptors in the huddle now. Bryce Hedrick gets the play, breaks the huddle, brings him up to the line. Brown dots the I with Bo Rogers at the fullback. Hedrick barks out the signals, got a split up to the top, hands it up, fumble. Eaglecrest handed out to the first man through the hole, Bo Rogers. I don't know if the ball was wet. They had a bit of a problem handling that. The referees umpire the bodies to see where the ball, which way is it going to go. And now they indicate Eaglecrest fell on their own fumble. Play went ahead for the first down. Eaglecrest in business inside Raider territory at the 48-yard line. Hedrick breaks the huddle again. Bo Rogers stays in as the fullback. Damian Brown dots the I. And they hand it to Terrell Cameron coming around. He gets good yardage upfield. A nice block by number 58 on the offensive line for Eaglecrest. Alex Gogden was the block that got him to the corner and up forward. That's another first down for the Raptors. And as we said, the Raptors like to run the ball. And when you've got great backs like Bo Rogers, Terrell Cameron, and Damian Brown, why not? Just hand it to those guys and let them run all day. Hedrick under the corner, hands it to Damian Brown. Brown finds a swarm of Rangeview defenders there at the line, maybe ahead for about 1.5 yards or so. Offensive line for Eaglecrest doing a good job right now. They're knocking the Rangeview defenders about 1.5 yards off the ball, and that's the big part of the running game. If you don't get that surge, get those defenders back on their heels, the game doesn't work. And then, of course, they've got the great running backs at Eaglecrest. Damian Brown knows to find the hole, hit the alley, and he can be gone like a shot. You got to watch out for him. Hedrick's under center, barks out the signals, takes the snap, hands it to Brown again. Brown to the corner looking for some room. Oh, my, nice tackle there. That's number 22 for Rangeview, Marcus Santon, coming up containing Brown. Brown still manages to get ahead for about another yard. It'll be third and about 7 yards for the Raptors. Bryce Hedrick hasn't attempted a pass so far on this series. With 3rd and 7, you got to be thinking pass, but you also want to look sprint draw or quarterback draw, as Rangeview will be thinking pass too. Hedrick settles under center. Brown in the backfield again. Bo Rogers. And he's got, Eaglecrest jumps off sides, and that effectively marches the ball back 5 yards. So that'll set up Eaglecrest with about a 3rd and 10. That's a tough penalty to get there. That's just a mental penalty. The offensive football team, they know the signal. They shouldn't be jumping off sides, but you get a little bit of excited sometimes, and he fired off a little bit early there. All right, about 3rd and 12 as the Raptors come up to the line. Split wide. Damian Brown dots the I in the backfield. Bryce Hendrick back. He's looking for pass. Good protection. Now he's got the rush. It's a screen. Oh, boy, I tell you what. Terrell Cameron had blockers in front of him, and if Hendrick can drop that ball right in his hands, that's a nice play for the screen. Rangeview does a nice job of diagnosing that, though, getting the pressure on him, and Hendrick has to throw it away. That'll bring up 4th and 12 at about the 37-yard line for the Raptors. I don't see any indication at this point if they're going to punt or go for the field goal. Now we get a timeout by Eaglecrest. They're going to talk things over. We'll be back. 7-zip Rangeview. Selling the tapes for the Booster Club. All righty, welcome back to a rain-soaked Stutler Bowl. The rain continues to fall, and more lightning off to the west, so we'll have to keep an eye on that because, as I said before, can't play the game with weather, especially lightning on the field, because the player's safety comes first. Rangeview leads this ball game 7-zip, and it looks like the Eaglecrest Raptors are going to punt on a 4th and 12 position. Oh, they're going for it here. Hedrick under center. He keeps the ball. He's rolling out. He's got a player. Oh, and number 43 for Rangeview. Casey Boyler just separates the Eaglecrest receiver, Mark Moon, from the ball on that. Moon was wide open, though, boy. He had his hands on that ball, and just an incredible hit by the Rangeview defender separates him from the ball. All right, Rangeview takes over, 37-yard line. Marvin Jones comes out to lead the Rangeview troops. Jones calls the signals. They break the huddle. Jones is an equal threat at passing and running the ball, so you really want to keep an eye on this young man. Rangeview does something you don't see in many high schools. They go to the shotgun. Jones is back. He's got a receiver. He finds Chris Murray out there. And a whole host of Rangeview Raiders are there to find him. Excuse me, that's Marcus Stanton, number 22 for Rangeview. But the pass didn't confuse any of the Eaglecrest Raptors, as a whole herd of them were out there to welcome Mr. Stanton to the AstroTurf here at Stutler Bowl. All right, Jones huddles up the Rangeview Raiders again. They break the huddle. Eaglecrest splits out. Rangeview goes with double splits to the bottom half of the screen with Chris Murray and Rodney Smith, a couple of speedsters down there. Marcus Stanton gets the quick pass, and he looks to be ahead for about 6 or 7 yards up to the Eaglecrest, or the Rangeview 44-yard line. Just a quick hitter right off the line. Marcus Stanton took 2 steps and looked for the ball, and of course Marvin Jones delivers it right on the money. Rangeview's in business here. 3rd and 3 now at their own 44-yard line. Jones goes under center for this one, abandoning the shotgun formation. He's got Stanton and Murray in the backfield with him. And he pulls it out. He keeps it himself. He heads upfield. He's got a lane. Number 22 for Eaglecrest. He gets by him. 77 finally pushes him out. That's Randy Gorton, one of the defensive linemen for Eaglecrest, finally getting downfield to push Marvin Jones out. But as I said, he's a double threat. You can't just cover the pass, because when you think he's going to pass, he'll run the ball. And he runs it extremely well there. He just broke the line and got upfield. All right, the Rangeview Raiders are in business now. 1st down at about the 25-yard line. Eaglecrest is looking a little flat so far in this defensive effort. Let's see what they got. He's got Marcus and Stanton and Murray in the backfield with him. Split out wide. He hands it to number 2, Courtney Goodgain, and Goodgain gets through the line into the corner. Touchdown! I don't see any flags. Wow, what a play for Rangeview. Courtney Goodgain just gets the ball, and the little guy squirts through the Eaglecrest defense and hits the corner. 13-0 Rangeview. This is definitely not the way Eaglecrest wanted to open their homecoming football game. Jason Campbell, the sophomore kicker from Rangeview, will line up the extra point. The Raiders break the huddle. That'll be number 22, Marcus Stanton, with the hold again for Campbell. Campbell's got a good leg. Let's see what he can get the extra point here to put Rangeview up 14-0. Gets it down, a little bit low, but it's good. No good, the referee calls it, a little bit low. Snap was high. Stanton couldn't get it down in time for Campbell to put it through. All right, the Eaglecrest Raptors need to show what they can do right now. They're down 13-zip, and there's 6:46 left in the first quarter, and it appears that there's an Eaglecrest player down. So with the score 13-zip Rangeview here in the first quarter. A couple of Eaglecrest players down, and we'll see if we can get numbers for you. This is definitely not the way that Eaglecrest wanted to open this homecoming football game. They're lining up on the kickoff. I don't know if some of the Eaglecrest players realize that a couple of their own guys are down. There's two Eaglecrest Raptors, and there's a crowd of trainers and coaches, and I can't see the numbers from this vantage point. All right, we'll come back. 13-zip, Rangeview leads. All righty, we're back at the Stutler Bowl. Trey Miller and Courtney Mahue were the injured Raptors, and they come off the field under their own power. And the Eaglecrest Raptors line up to take the kickoff. You've got Damian Brown and Terrell Cameron back to receive the ball, number 10 and 42 respectively for the Raptors. And Eaglecrest needs to get something going here. Jason Campbell, the sophomore kicker from Rangeview, lines up, brings it up and puts his foot into the ball. Gets it down to about the 10-yard line. That's Terrell Cameron heading upfield. He's got blockers. He's through the gap. Oh, boy, what a nice return that was, about 20 yards. Cameron brings it up to the 43-yard line. If he could have got through that last couple of Rangeview blockers, he might have been gone because he's got good speed. He's also good size, so when you take a shot at him, you got to make sure you wrap up and put him down. All right, let's see what the Raptors can do. They're in business 1st and 10 on the 43-yard line. Bryce Hedrick brings him up. Bo Rogers, Terrell Brown in the back, Damian Brown, in the backfield. Split wide. Hedrick looking to pass. He's got receivers. There's that screen. And Damian Brown still on his feet, spinning, twisting forward. And the Eaglecrest crowd likes what they see. Damian Brown does a nice job of just getting the screen pass, and it voids the first tackler, and he twists and turns upfield for about 8 yards. It'll be 2nd and 2 as the Raptors come up to the ball. Boy, I can't say enough good things about Damian Brown. This young man's had a heck of a season so far. Big games against Horizon last week, and he's looking for big things today against the Rangeview Raiders. Let's see what they can do. Hedrick gives him a few last-minute signals, brings him up to the line. Bo Rogers is the down back. Damian Brown dots the I. Hedrick gets the snap, and he hands it to Brown. Brown up the field, and he's forward for the first down to about the 45-yard line. That'll be an Eaglecrest first down. Brown doing a lot of that on his own. He got good offensive line surge, and then when he got to the linebackers, just kept those feet moving, his knees high, driving forward. And I said it before, you're not going to take this young man down on the first or second shot. Sometimes you'll take 3 and 4 defenders to bring him down. Number 81, Rob Rosenose, splits out. Bryce, Rogers, and Brown in the backfield. Brown gets the ball again. And a flag comes flying in from the line judge on the Eaglecrest sideline. We'll have to see what that penalty is all about. Brown looks to be ahead for about 2 or 3 yards. I would call it about 2nd and 7 at this point. And the penalty is against Rangeview, so that's going to move the ball forward as well. Wow. Must have been a big penalty. It looked to be a face mask because that moves it up forward 15 yards. Rangeview with a bad penalty there. I don't know if it was a blatant face mask or just the inadvertent kind, but in high school it's a 15-yard penalty. All right, the Raptors with good field position now. Bryce Hedrick brings him up to the line. Rogers and Brown in the backfield. That's number 80, and Jason McQueen split up to the top of your screen. Brown gets the pitch. He's got blockers. He's to the corner. Watch out. He's down to the 10. He's down to the 5. Wow, good gain there. You're not going to stop that young man when he gets to the corner, and plus you got blockers out ahead of him. Bryce Hedrick does a nice job, gets the pitch in perfect pitch relationship to Brown, and Damian Brown does the rest as he rumbles all the way down to the 9-yard line for the Eaglecrest Raptors. Eaglecrest first and goal on about the 9-yard line. The Eaglecrest offensive line pushing the Rangeview defense around pretty good right now. Let's see if they can do it. Now they're in that red gun area where you need to get it in between the 20s. Hedrick under center. He's looking to pass. He's rolling out. He's got some pressure. He avoids the pressure. He lost one in the end zone. Nobody there. Bryce Hedrick had some good protection a couple minutes early, but then the pressure of Rangeview caught up with him, and he just shoots one to the end zone to avoid the sack. So it'll be second and goal at about the Eaglecrest 9. Let's see what the Raptors do here. I tell you what, Damian Brown running right and left has got him this far. I think that's what you got to do, hand it to the big guy and let him rumble forward. We'll see what Eaglecrest coach Ron Peterson has in mind right now as Bryce brings the Raptors up to the line. Bryce is under center, calls out the signals. He gets the snap, and Damian Brown gets the pitch. He gets a little bit deep. Oh, my goodness, nice job. Brown got the pitch a little bit deep, and then he's able to wiggle forward for about 2 or 3 yards. It looks to be about at the Eaglecrest 7-yard line. It'll be third and goal, 7 yards out. Let's see what the Raptors got on 3rd and 7. They need to get something out of this one. Bryce gets the signals. He sends Jason Sovereign down to the bottom half of your screen. Brings the offensive line up. Rogers and Damian Brown are the backfield. Bryce calls the signals. He gets the snap, hands it to Bo Rogers up the middle, and Rogers gets down to about the 2-yard line. We'll have to see where the referees spot it, but that'll bring up 4th down. Bo Rogers just the first man through the hole, and Bryce Hedrick hands it off, and Rogers just gets forward to about the 2-yard line. We'll see what the Raptors have in mind now. Rangeview needs to stiffen up that defense a little bit. We'll see. And it doesn't look like they're going to kick the field goal. They're going to go for it on 4th and 2. Hedrick brings them to the line. And I tell you what, I think this is a good call. You've got the big offensive line. Uh-oh. Hedrick didn't like something he saw. He calls timeout Eaglecrest. 13-zip here at the Stutler Bowl. Eaglecrest driving on the 2-yard line.
Hey, Pig.
All right, we're back at the Stutler Bowl. The rain continues to fall, and if that wasn't enough, the wind is really kicking up. Eaglecrest decides to go for it on 4th and 2. Bryce Hedrick brings them up to the line. That's Jason McQueen split to the bottom half of your screen. Bo Rogers, Damian Brown in the backfield, and they hit a reverse. Terrell Cameron, number 42, and he breaks a Rangeview tackle and is able to squirt into the touchdown. Terrell Cameron, number 42 on the reverse. I thought Eaglecrest had it stuffed, but they didn't wrap him up, and Terrell Cameron shoots into the end zone to put the Raptors on the board, 13-6. Wow, what a good game that was for Terrell Cameron. That's a gutsy call by Ron Peterson and the Eaglecrest staff, too, running a reverse on the 2-yard line. But when you got talent like Terrell Cameron and Damian Brown, why not? Let him give them the ball and do what they do best. Eaglecrest looking for the extra point now to put the capper on it. That's Rob Pentrak, and it's high enough, and it's good. Eaglecrest on the board, 13-7 against Rangeview on a rainy homecoming Saturday afternoon. Boy, there's more lightning off to the west. I don't know how much longer we're going to be able to keep this game on the field. And the PA announcer calls for the Raptor Thunder, and there's a packed crowd of Raptor fans on this side. This is one of the bigger crowds I've seen this year for a high school football game, but Eaglecrest always manages to bring out the fans. Great support at that school, the booster club and the coaches, all the fans. And the wind and the rain continues to fall. And now it's blowing it at a sideways angle, right into the eyes of some of the players, including me. And that's Jason Rogers, number 12, getting ready to kick the ball off for the Raptors. You got Marcus Stanton, Chris Murray, and Courtney Goodgain back deep for the Rangeview Raiders. And the ball goes out of bounds, so they're going to re-kick it. That was Chris Murray, number 20 for Rangeview, nearest Raider receiver over there, but of course the ball goes out of bounds. So they're going to make Eaglecrest re-kick the ball. And I tell you what, the wind just is kicking up, blowing from the south to the north, and that's just the way Eaglecrest is kicking the ball, and that wind might have had a factor in putting that ball out of bounds. All right, Eaglecrest kickoff man, Jason Rogers, will line it up again. Oh, no, I tell you what, Rangeview refused the penalty. They'll take the ball at the 35 and not make them re-kick it, as the wind and the rain are really becoming a factor now. Marvin Jones Quarterback for Rangeview calls out the signals. They break the huddle. They're up to the line. That's number 21, Rodney Smith, split to the top of your screen for Rangeview. Marcus Stanton and Chris Murray in the back. And Courtney Goodgain, number 2, gets the ball as the first man through the hole for the Rangeview football team. He gets ahead for a couple of yards. That'll bring up second down and about 8 or 7 maybe. All right, Jones back in the huddle, calls out the signals. The Eaglecrest defense is set as they break the huddle. Jones brings them up to the line. Marcus Stanton split wide, only one back left. Jones under center. Jones gets the snap. He hands it off to Courtney Goodgain, fakes the play action, then he pitches it. Chris Murray, number 20, swarmed under there. Rangeview does a good job. Chris Murray get the ball too deep on that pitch, and the Eaglecrest defense was there to greet him. That's going to move the ball back for the Raiders. That'll put them about at 3rd and 13. As Jones calls out the signal, look for a pass here. Jones brings the Raiders up to the line. Jones going into center again, not using the shotgun on this play. He's got Chris Murray split to the bottom. He brings 22. Rodney Smith in motion. It's a screen pass. Marcus Stanton, number 22, well, I think was the intended receiver on that one, but he didn't turn around by the time Jones had to throw the ball. That'll bring up 4th down as the Eaglecrest defense is able to shut down Rangeview. Rangeview's going to have to punt. Jones also handles the punts as well as the quarterbacking duties, so he's deep. Back for Rangeview, it looks like Bo Rogers and number 21, Eaglecrest, Bo Rogers and number 21, Jamie Krapaknik. And that ball hits the ball and it bobbles out of bounds at about the 31-yard line. And the Raptors will take over there, 1st and 10 at their 31-yard line as the rain begins to fall in earnest. We'll see what effect the weather has on this ball game as the Raptors come up to the ball, or come into the huddle. 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line, trailing 13-7. Bryce Hedrick brings him up to the line. He's under center. Damian Brown dots the I in the backfield. Bo Rogers gets the fake. Oh, it's an interception. Rangeview. Andy Larson, number 72, one of the down linemen, was just in the right position at the right time. He turned around and the ball was right there. Bryce Hedrickson faked the handoff to Bo Rogers, the first man through the hole, pulled back on the play action and just dumped it over the middle, and Andy Larson, number 72 for Rangeview, is there. Big break for the Raiders. They get 1st down at the 35-yard line, and the referees are calling this game temporarily as the lightning and the rain become a factor for player safety. This game's on hold, 13-7, Rangeview. So the sun returns here to the Stellar Bowl, and this is not deja vu from the spring snowstorm the fall snowstorm we had earlier in the week. That's hail covering the field here at the Stellar Bowl as the Raptors and the Raiders retake the field, hoping to get this homecoming game underway. That was quite the storm, however, as everything is covered in hail, and there's a lot of water on the field, so we'll have to see how both of these teams handle. I got to think that this favors Eaglecrest, because they had a chance to go in, talk about some of the things that Rangeview was doing, and hopefully come up with some ways to stop it. So we'll be back with this restart of the Eaglecrest Raptors versus the Rangeview Raiders. All righty, we're back after a rain delay of about an hour. Rain, hail, wind, whatever you want. It's homecoming Saturday for the Eaglecrest Raptors, but right now the Rangeview Raiders are in business at the Raptor 35. Marvin Jones brings out the troops, takes a look at the Eaglecrest D. Jones under center. Jones gets the snap. He's looking to pass. He's got number 20, Chris Murray, wide open. Boy, Murray had a shot at that one for a minute. I'm a little bit surprised the Raptors come out throwing with the ball in the field being wet and slippery. I look for a lot of running the rest of this game anyway, but the Raiders showing no fear as Jones goes up top right off the bat to Chris Murray, and it's just a few fingertips too long for Murray. 2nd down and 10 at the 35. The Raptors break out of their defensive huddle, and they get set. Jones calls the play. Here come the Raiders up to the line. That's number 21, Rodney Smith, split to the top of your screen. Jones staying under center with two backs in the backfield with him. Fakes the handoff. He keeps it. Turns the corner. Jones maybe got 2 yards, but again, the Eaglecrest defense does a great job of sniffing that out, running him down the line, and then just shutting that option play down. All right, let's see what we got now with the Raiders coming out. 3rd down and about 8, it looks like. Eaglecrest calls the defensive signals, and they break their huddle. Coach Kurt Krantz for Rangeview shuttles some players in to get the talent he wants on the field. Now Rangeview comes out of the huddle. Jones brings him up to the line. That's number 80. Matt Whetstone split to the bottom of your screen. And he sends number 22, Marcus Stanton, to the top of your screen. Jones calls the signal as he's under center. He's back. He's looking for a pass. He's got number 20, Marcus Stanton, wide. There's oh, boy, I tell you, Bo Rogers from Eaglecrest had a line on that pass, and I thought he was going to get the interception, but he does a nice job of breaking up the play. That'll bring up 4th down and about 9 for the Rangeview Raiders. And we'll see. Marvin Jones handles the extra point and field goal duties. Let's see if they go for a field goal here. I got to think this type of weather hurts the kicking game the most because it's so hard to get that snap down and everything. Rangeview's going to go for it. 4th and 9. Jones brings him up to the line. That's number 20, Chris Murray, split to the bottom, and number 21, Rodney Smith, split to the top of your screen. Jones under center. He gets the snap. He's back looking pass. Oh, there's the pick. Jamie Kapnick, number 21 for Eaglecrest, grabs the errant Marvin Jones pass and rumbles all the way down to the 38-yard line of Rangeview. Boy, I tell you, Marvin Jones had Marcus Stanton, number 22, open, but Jamie Kapnick just steps in, grabs that pass, and away he goes. Great defense by these Eaglecrest Raptors. They've got this homecoming crowd fired up again after a cold delay of game during the rain and the hail. Let's see what the Raptors got going now. They'll take the ball at the Rangeview 44. Bryce Hedrick brings him out again. He's in the I formation. Got a split top to the wide. Hands it to the second back coming around. Terrell Cameron, number 42. Cameron ahead for good yardage in the 1st down. About a 12-yard gain all the way down to the Rangeview 30. It's a nice bit of a reverse action play there as they sent Damian Brown around the other side, and Hedren spun around and caught Terrell Cameron coming back. Cameron gets through the line of scrimmage and upfield, twisting and turning for extra yards. Raptors 1st and 10 now at the Rangeview 30-yard line. Hedris under center. And that's going to be the end of the 1st quarter. Rangeview leads it 13-7, but the Eaglecrest Raptors are driving. All right, we're back now. Bryce Hedrick brings the Raptors up to the line, and he gets the pitch to Damian Brown, number 10. Brown will lose one tackler, and he's not going to get by another. Oh, he is. He breaks that tackle, but he just slides. Looks to be about parallel to the line of scrimmage. There's a Rangeview player down, so we'll take timeout here. Back with Eaglecrest driving, losing 13-7. We're back. The Raptors take the snap. Rangeview thinks there's been a fumble. Rangeview player is saying it's their ball. We'll wait for the call of the referee. There it is. Rangeview gets the fumble. And that's what I was talking about on this slippery, wet field. It's going to be awfully hard to keep a handle on that ball. That's too bad because Eaglecrest was driving. I thought they had things going their way. Switch around now. Ball at the 29. Rangeview on offense. And here they come. Number 44 for Eaglecrest, Travis Noble, calls the defensive signals. And Rangeview up to the ball. And I believe the officials call timeout. I thought we might have had a delay of game penalty on the Raptors there as they didn't break the defensive huddle quite quick enough. But the official takes the time. And we got a minute to let you know that Marvin Jones is in at quarterback again. He's got number 1, Brent Bailey, and Marcus Stanton, and number 2, Courtney Goodgain. Goodgain gets the ball. Goodgain ahead for about 7 yards. Looks like it'll be about it'll be 2nd and 3 as the Raiders advance the ball up to about their 37-yard line. All right. 2nd and 4. The Rangeview comes out of the huddle. The ball's on the 36-yard line. Marvin Jones staying under center, not going to that shotgun set we saw earlier in the game. He calls the signals. Jones has the snap, gets the reverse to Chris Murray coming around the outside. Oh boy, let me tell you what, there was a whole herd of Raptors there waiting for him. That reverse didn't confuse anybody. The Raptor defense shuts it down. They're penalty on the play. We'll wait for the official's call to see what it was. Referee talking to Marvin Jones, saying it's against you guys. Holding, and of course that's a big call. And the Raiders are going to go the other way now. Eaglecrest with a bit of a break there. Kirk Krantz for Rangeview, the head coach over there, gets his talent he wants in. And the men in the striped shirts march it back to all the way to the Eaglecrest 23-yard line, it looks like. We'll wait for the call. This is a holding call.
Penalty takes the ball back to the Rangeview 23.
All right, Eaglecrest breaks their defensive huddle, gets set up. Here come the Raiders. Let's see what the Raiders have on 2nd and 14 at the 22-yard line. Jones takes a look at the defense. He's under center. He calls it. He got the snap, and he hands it. No, he pulls it out. Play action pass. He's looking downfield. He's got a receiver. Wide open, number 85. Chuck Johnson. Chuck Johnson, a senior, 6'1", 185. The big guy was wide open. Jones puts the ball right on the money. The Raiders are in business. Eaglecrest territory. It looks to be about the 43-yard line will be the yard of scrimmage. First down. Boy, Johnson was just able to get out in the pattern, and nobody covered him, wide open, and Marvin Jones puts it right on the money. Raptor defense playing pretty good so far, but when you blow a coverage like that, it's awfully tough. All right, here come the Raiders. Split to the bottom of your screen. Rodney Smith, Jones in the backfield, under center. He calls the signals. He takes the snap. He hands it off to number 2, Courtney Goodgain. Goodgain ahead all the way to the 35-yard line. Gain of about 7 yards to the 35. That should make it about 2nd and 3 or 4 for the Rangeview Raiders. Field starting to dry out a little bit. You can see in the middle of the field some of the actual AstroTurf coming through, all that water. But it still is an awful slippery mess. Line of scrimmage is the 36-yard line. Number 80, Matt Whetstone, splits to the bottom of your screen. Jones under center, only one back in the backfield. And Jones gets the snap. Jones gets the snap there. Quick pass out to number 22, Marcus Stanton. And Stanton gets ahead for what looks to be the first down. We'll see where the referees spot it. Stanton lined up in the slot, took a couple steps, turned around, and Jones drilled that ball right there. And it will be a Raider first down. Raiders have the ball at the Eaglecrest 32, and they're driving right now thanks to a long pass play. Chuck Johnson was on the receiving end of a Marvin Jones bomb. All right, Eaglecrest called the line of scrimmage to 31. Here comes Eaglecrest on defense. Let's see if they can shut the Raiders down. Jones takes a look at the defensive set. He's got 2 backs in the backfield, Chris Goodgain and Marcus Stanton. Hands it to Courtney Goodgain. Goodgain ahead. Couple of yards. He didn't get much, though. It's awfully hard to challenge the heart of that Eaglecrest defense. They've got some real players in there, and they just stuffed up the middle, and Goodgain was going nowhere. That'll bring up 2nd down. Looked like Goodgain got about 3 yards. 2nd and, well, officially they're calling it 8 yards. It's closer to 7, however. Eaglecrest breaks the defense. Looking for back-to-back good plays here. Marvin Jones brings splits. Matt Whetstone and Brent Bailey, top and bottom. One back in the field again. Marcus Stanton set up in the split. Jones gets the snap. He's back. He's looking. Brent Bailey. Oh, boy, I'll tell you what. Brent Bailey was wide open, but Bo Rogers was over there. And I tell you, when big Bo Rogers is bearing down on you, you got to hear those footsteps. And Bailey just dropped that ball. Bo Rogers with a little bit of an intimidation factor there. All right, 3rd down and 8 yards now. Eaglecrest defense stiffening up a little bit. Here come the Raiders. Let's see what they can do on 3rd down. You got number 21, Rodney Smith, split to the bottom. Jones under center, one back in the backfield. Jones makes the calls. He gets the snap. He fakes the handoff, looking for a screen. And it's just too tall for Brent Bailey over there. Bailey had a little bit of a cushion around him, but Jones just couldn't get the ball to him, so that'll bring up 4th down and 8 at the 32-yard line. So we'll see what the Raiders do now. 28-yard line, excuse me. I mentioned Marvin Jones handles the kicking duties as well, and I think they're going to go for it here. Fourth and a long 8, but they probably figure that a punt, a long throw downfield or something is as good as a punt in this situation. Jones going back in the shotgun now. He's got split stop and bottom, one back in the field, 2 slot backs. Sends number 2, Courtney Goodgain, in motion. Jones gets the shotgun snap. He's got good time. He's got some protection. Boy, he led Rodney Smith just a little bit there. And the Eaglecrest Raptors have good defense on that series, and they take over. They're in business at their own 29-yard line, 1st and 10. Let's see what the Raptors can do now in this situation. Bryce Hedrick, of course, will be bringing the offensive unit onto the field. Damian Brown, Terrell Cameron, and Bo Rogers coming out. So we'll have a new fullback in the game. Rogers going both ways. He needs a little bit of a rest. All right, Bryce Hedrick brings the Raptors up to the line. He's under center, and he hands it off on the second man through. Terrell Cameron coming around the outside, and he gets it up to about the 35-yard line. Make that a gain of 6, 2nd and 4. Here come the Raptors. And I think you're going to see a lot of that this afternoon. As I mentioned, the slippery, wet field, and the ball's going to be getting wetter as the game goes on. Awfully tough to pass, as you saw in that last series by Rangeview. So when you got big backs like Damian Brown and Terrell Cameron and Bo Rogers, just hand it to those guys. All right, Hedrick under center now. He calls the signals. He takes the snap. Hand off again. This time to Damian Brown. Damian Brown stays on his feet. Boy, Damian Brown has great balance. It's hard to teach that to a running back. That's something they have to be born with. And he got hit once, and other than if his knee hadn't gone down, he would have spun out, and he was wide open to the Raptors side of the field here. All right, Bo Rogers back in the game now. And they bring in number 81, Rob Rosano. Bryce is calling the signals. The Raiders get set defensively. And we split out Jason McQueen to the bottom and Rob Rosano up to the top. Hedrick under center now. And he pitches to number 10, Damian Brown. Brown's got an alley. Brown to the corner. Brown up to the 47-yard line. I tell you what, the tackle on that side did a nice job of just sealing that outside man. And Damian Brown got to the corner and turned it upfield to the 46-yard line. Nice gain. Raptors back-to-back first downs they'd like to see now. Call the line of scrimmage, the 35-yard line. No, the ball's on the 46-yard line. The scoreboard's wrong. I've got it right. Here we go now. Raptors under center. Hedrick, once again, hands it out to Damian Brown. Brown ahead across the 50. He's into Raider territory at about the 48-yard line. Tell you what, Damian Brown's in a groove right now. He's finding the holes, and he gets the alley, and boy, he got that speed. Once he gets there, he's gone like a shot. Clock running, 5:45 left in the second period, and the Raptors are driving now. Got number 80, Jason McQueen, split to the bottom. Bo Rogers and Damian Brown are the I backfield. And Bryce hands it off to number 8, Bo Jackson. Bo Rogers, not Bo Jackson, excuse me. He reminded me of Bo Jackson on that run as he gets the handoff to the first man, and he just drives forward. Nice gain. First down, 39-yard line. Here come the Raptors. They got something going now. Let's see what they can do with it. Hedrick brings him to the line. He's under center. Bo Rogers, Damian Brown in the backfield. Rob Rosano up, split up to the top. And they hand it to number 42, coming around back, Terrell Cameron. Cameron ahead for another first down. The Raptors are inside the Raider 30-yard line, down to about the 28 or 27-yard line, it looks like. And that play's been successful a number of times for them this afternoon. They fake that handoff to Bo Rogers up the middle and get Terrell Cameron coming around the opposite side and pitch it to him, and away he goes. Back-to-back first downs now for the Raptors. Let's see what they can do. Rogers and Brown, the I backfield. Bryce under center. He fakes the handoff. He keeps it himself. He turns it upfield. He's got some room. And Bryce Hedrick keeps the ball and turns it upfield for another Raptor first down. Boy, they've got the offense clicking right now. Bryce Hedrick does the smart play there. Runs the play action pass inside. See, he doesn't have anything. He tucks it up and takes care of it himself for the first down. Mark it at about the 17-yard line. 1st and 10 Raptors and they'd like to get a touchdown out of this. We got a Rangeview timeout. Raptors are driving, but they still trail 13-7. All righty, we're back, and the Raptors are driving. They're in business at the 17-yard line of Rangeview. Hedrick under center. He pitches out to Damian Brown. Damian Brown's got Bo Rogers in front, blocking for him. Look out. Holy cow. Boy, I tell you what. Bo Rogers laid a heck of a block out there, and Damian Brown, being the smart running back he is, reads it, cuts it back up inside, and one of the Rangeview defenders was able to trip him up, or he was in for 6 for sure. All right, now, another first down. Be first and goal at the 4-yard line of Rangeview. The Raptors are really clicking on all cylinders now on the offense. The wet weather and the wet ball don't seem to affect these guys at all. Of course, when you have great running backs, like I said, Bo Rogers, Damian Brown, Terrell Cameron, you just give the ball to those guys and let them do their job. All right, Bryce Hedrick under center now. He takes the snap, hands it off to number 10, Damian Brown. Brown ahead. He's close. I don't see a signal by the referee. It looks like Rangeview's going to hold him just a little bit short. So that'll bring up second and goal. Ball on the 1, but it's really closer to about the half-yard line. The Eaglecrest offensive line doing a great job pushing around those Rangeview defenders right now and opening up some nice holes for Rogers and Brown to get through. All righty, they come out, I backfield, Damian Brown, Bo Rogers, Bryce Hedrick under center. Nothing fancy there. Damian Brown ahead. He might have leaned and got it.
Damian Brown on the carry.
No, the referees are saying that Rangeview held him out again.
Tackle made by number 91.
That's going to bring up 3rd and 1. I thought he was there. I thought he leaned in for the touchdown. Of course, it's hard to see at this angle. All right, 3rd down and 1. Goal to goal. Eaglecrest breaks the huddle. Bryce brings him up to the line. Jason McQueen split to the bottom. Damian Brown, Bo Rogers of the backfield. And Bryce Hedrick just, boy, I tell you, that looked like a broken play to me. Hedrick looked like he was spinning around to hand off, and there was nobody there. And then he tried to turn it up. He just couldn't get it. All right, Eaglecrest wants a timeout to think about it. They're trailing 13-7, but they've got the ball on the 1-yard line. All righty, we're back. It's 4th and 2 yards to the touchdown for the Eaglecrest Raptors. They hand it to Damian Brown, and he's in. Damian Brown, touchdown, Eaglecrest, to tie the game at 13 apiece. The Eaglecrest Raptors now have a chance to go ahead on the extra point. And I tell you what, nothing fancy about that. You hand it to your go-to guy, Damian Brown, and he gets in for the touchdown. 13-13. This homecoming football game is now tied. All right. Let's see if the Raptors go for the extra point or go for 2. No, they're going to kick. That's Jason Rogers handling the kicking duties. This is a big extra point for him now. Snap comes back, gets it down. He's into it clean. Jason Rogers puts the Raptors up 14-13. And the Raptors take their first lead in the ball game with 2:44 left in the second quarter. 14-13 on a Jason Rogers point after touchdown. Alrighty, we're back at the Stutler Bowl. I'm Matt Cook. This is Eaglecrest's homecoming football game. And they're ready to kick off after they just took their first lead of the game. And Jason Rogers gets into that ball. And the Rangeview receivers just watch it go out of the end zone. The Raiders will take the ball on their own 20, trailing 13-14 to the home team, Eaglecrest Raptors. I tell you what, that was an impressive drive for the Raptors. They put back-to-back first downs together and just drove down the field. And then, of course, their go-to guy, Mr. Touchdown, Damian Brown, rumbling in for the score. Jason Rogers adds the extra point to put the Raptors up 14-13. Let's see what they do on defense now. Marvin Jones, once again, breaks the Rangeview huddle and leads them out. That's number 84, Ryan Pritchard, split to the bottom. And he throws to Chris Murray on a little quick. Murray to the outside. And all Murray did was take about 2 steps, turn around. Jones drilled him the ball. Murray got a little bit of yardage there. That'll bring up second down. And about 9. No gain. Oh, I thought he got about a yard there. No gain, however. Rangeview back in the huddle now. Jones calling the signals. Eaglecrest on defense after an impressive offensive showing on that last series to take the lead. Here comes Rangeview up to the line. That's number 21, Rodney Smith, split to the bottom of your screen. Jones, two backs in the backfield. He calls the signals, takes the snap. He hands off to number 25, Randy Martin. Randy Martin had a big game last week against Hinckley, went over 150 yards in a losing effort, unfortunately, for the Raiders. Randy Martin's got some speed, a little guy, but boy, he gets out in the open. Watch out. Of course, the Eaglecrest defense is probably not going to let that happen. They've definitely stiffened it up. Travis Noble, number 44, calls the defensive signals for them. Here come the Rangeview Raiders up to the line. Eaglecrest breaks their defensive huddle. Got number 22, Marcus Stanton, split down. Jones under center. Jones calls the signal, and he hands off to the first man. No, he pitches it, pulls it out. Pitches it to Randy Murray. Chris Murray. And Chris Murray, I tell you what, was greeted by about 9 of the 11 Eaglecrest defenders. No gain there. And that'll bring up 4th down. Marvin Jones getting ready to punt for the Rangeview Raiders. Back deep for Eaglecrest, number 21, Jamie Knapp. And number 8, Bo Rogers. Jones stands back, waits for the snap. Snaps a little high. Jones gets it down. It's a line drive. It's going to take a Rangeview roll. No, Bo Rogers feels it. And Rogers gets ahead for a couple of yards. The Raptors will be set up at the 47 of Rangeview as they come out on offense. Eaglecrest defense should get a lot of credit there. They stuffed the Rangeview offense, didn't let them get too much, and now they've set them up, the offense for Eaglecrest, in pretty good position. Bryce Hedrick under center. Damian Brown, Bo Rogers is the backfield. Hedrick back to pass. He's got Terrell Cameron, number 42, along the sideline. Cameron does it. Oh, yes! I tell you what an athletic catch. Terrell Cameron goes up, the ball gets tipped. Great concentration. He sticks with it and makes the reception. Holy cow, what a play, Terrell Cameron. Boy, I tell you what, that young man going to make a lot of highlight films in college if he keeps catching the ball like that. Hedrick to the air again. Airs it out a little bit deep for number 80, Jason McQueen. That'll bring a timeout with 19 seconds left. Eaglecrest is in business. They definitely like to get some more points here before they go to halftime. They've got the ball at their 21-yard line, 19 seconds to work with. Hedrick calls the signals. In comes number 30, Jason Sovern for Eaglecrest. Bryce Hedrick gets the play from Sovern. Brings him up to the line. Sovern will be split down to the bottom. Damian Brown, Bo Rogers, the backfield. And Hedrick, he's looking to pass again. He's got great protection. Good time. Number 87, Eaglecrest. Mark Moon wide open. And Bryce Hedrick just drills the ball in there, and the big guy rumbles into the end zone untouched. That'll put Eaglecrest up 20-13, and Jason Rogers will come out trying to make it 21-13 Raptors. Boy, I tell you what, I knew they were an explosive offensive ball team, but I didn't know how quick they could strike. All right, Jason Rogers gets ready to put the extra point. Snap comes down, gets it down. Rogers into it clean, and it's good. The Eaglecrest Raptors now take an 8-point lead, 21-13, with 12 seconds left in the half. All righty, momentum definitely is swinging back Eaglecrest way. Rangeview's got 12 seconds to see if they can do something here. But I tell you what, Eaglecrest has a huge homecoming crowd here, and the crowd is definitely into the ball game now. This is my first chance to see the Eaglecrest Raptors this year, and I am impressed so far offensively. They are explosive. I tell you what, key play on that last game, Terrell Cameron making the acrobatic one-handed catch. Ball gets tipped, he sticks with it, and still makes the snag. Great play. All right, Jason Rogers, number 12 for Eaglecrest, gets ready to tee up the kickoff. Back for Rangeview, you got number 2, Courtney Goodgain, number 20, Randy Martin. And number 25, Randy Martin, and number 20, Chris Murray. And the wind kicks up a little bit and knocks the ball off the tee for Rogers. They'll re-tee it up. And Eaglecrest, got to be fired up, not let them get anything out of this. You'd hate to see a kickoff return like the one that opened the ball game for them. All right, Rogers gets a foot into it. He squib kicks it, and it gets back to number 2, Courtney Goodgain. Goodgain's got some blockers. And he's down, no, and Goodgain, I tell you what, about 10 of the Eaglecrest Raptors were down there to greet Mr. Courtney Goodgain to the wet AstroTurf at the Stetler Bowl. The Raiders will have 4 seconds to try and get something before the halftime. Marvin Jones leads the Raiders out onto the field. And they're not going to get a play off. We're going to go to the halftime with the Eaglecrest Raptors leading 21-13 on a homecoming Saturday. We'll be back. All right, we're back at a sunny Stetler Bowl. Sure, it's sunny now. It's hard to believe by looking at the field that less than an hour ago it was covered with hail and they actually had to postpone the game. But it's turned into a pretty nice Saturday, and it's really nice if you're an Eaglecrest Raptor fan. They lead the game 21-13. And I tell you what, the last 2 offensive drives they had before the half were both very impressive. This is a quick-hitting offense, and I tell you what, they've got all the tools. I am really impressed with this Eaglecrest ball team so far. So we'll have to see if they can continue that success into the second half. They'll get the ball first as the sophomore kicker for Rangeview, Jason Campbell, comes out. He'll be kicking to number 10, Damian Brown. Number 23, Terrell Cameron, and number 42, Terrell Cameron. Damian Brown's back there as well. All right, we're about ready to get the second half of this Saturday homecoming football game for Eaglecrest underway. And Campbell gets a foot into it. It comes to one of the upbacks from Eaglecrest. He has the trouble handling it. Now he's got it, and he's rumbling this way. That's Courtney Mayhew. Blaine Douglas, I'm sorry, check that. Blaine Douglas, one of the upbacks for Eaglecrest, bringing the ball this way. And Bryce Hedrick leads the Raptors out on the field now. He's got number 80, Jason McQueen, in there, and he'll split out to the top part of your screen. Bo Rogers, Damian Brown are the I backfield. Hedrick looking to pass on the very first. He's got a screen set up to the other side. And Bo Rogers. I tell you what, I'm going to make Bo Jackson by the end of this day. Bo Rogers gets a one-hopper out there on the screen pass. So that'll bring up 2nd and 10 as Hedrick wasn't able to get it out to Bo Rogers on that play. Number 30, Jason Sovereign, comes in, and he'll split out to the top of your screen. The I backfield remains Brown and Rogers. Hedrick under center now. He gets the snap. He fakes the pitch. Number 42, Terrell Cameron, coming through. And I tell you what, Rangeview diagnosed that play at halftime. Eaglecrest had good success bringing Cameron, the second back, through on the misdirection play in the first half, but Rangeview didn't fall for it that time as they were there to meet him. He falls forward for about 2 yards, bring up 3rd and 8. And Jason McQueen, number 80, splits out to the bottom. Number 81, Rob Rosano, splits out to the top for Eaglecrest. Brown dots the I, and he takes the pitch. He's to the corner. He's got some room. He's up to about the 47. A flag came flying in from the referee on the opposite side, and that's usually in the area where a holding penalty is called. We'll wait for the official call here. And Rangeview's applauding, so I'm assuming it went against Eaglecrest. And they are marching it back against Eaglecrest. So we'll see where the referee spots the ball now. It is holding because they're marching them way back. It's going to be about the 19-yard line of Eaglecrest. That'll give them 3rd and about 23 for the first down. But that doesn't worry me, I tell you. This Eaglecrest offense, they are a hit at any time kind of offense, and they've got big-time players that can move the ball whenever they want to. We'll see what the Eaglecrest coaching staff sends out for this play. All right, Jason McQueen split out to the bottom still. Brown and Rogers. Bryce back, he's looking, he's got good protection. He's going downfield. He's got number 42, Terrell Cameron, right there. And I tell you what, Terrell Cameron got hit a little bit, turned around, saw where the yardage marker for the first down was, and fell forward just enough to get the first down. I tell you, that's great awareness at the high school level. He knew where he had to go, and he got there for the first down. So the Raptors will have 1st and 10 at about their own 43-yard line. Bryce brings them up to the line. Rob Rosano split to the top. Rogers and Brown in the backfield again. Bryce Hedrick calls the signal, hands it to Damian Brown. Brown forward, keeps moving. Brown with a nice gain of about 8 yards up to Eaglecrest, Rangeview territory at about the 48-yard line. Referees are going to mark it closer to the 49 than the 48, however. That'll bring up 2nd and about 3. And the Raptors come up to the line. Jason McQueen's number 80 split up top. Rogers and Brown are still the backfield. Bryce Hedrick under center. He takes the snap, and he hands it off to Damian Brown. Brown close to the first down. He leaned forward, and it depends where they spot it. It appears they're going to spot it either maybe a little short or just right at first down. No, the referee says they've got the first down. They're not even going to measure that one. So the Raptors, again, first and 10 at their own, and they're in Rangeview territory at the 47-yard line. Number 30, Jason Sovereign, splits top. Jason McQueen, number 80, comes down to the bottom of the screen. Bryce Hedrick under center. He takes the snap. He's looking to pass. Good protection again. Got a lot of time. Now the Rangeview rush finds him, and he gets sacked at about the 49-yard line. That'll make it about 2nd and about 15 or 16, depending on where they spot it. And make it 2nd and 13. He had good time, but Rangeview had things covered downfield, and he didn't have anybody to go to. Brings in number 81, Rob Rosano now. Jason McQueen be the bottom receiver again, split to the bottom. Rogers and Brown still the backfield. Bryce Hedrick brings them up to the line. Hedrick under center. And he takes the snap. Hands it off to Bo Rogers up the middle. Bo Rogers rumbling down to about the 31-yard line. I tell you what, that's the great thing about running the option play. If not everybody doesn't do their job, one defender's got to take the quarterback, one's got to take the fullback, one's got to take the pitch guy. That time they didn't cover the fullback, and he was able to rumble forward to about the 32-yard line. Eaglecrest first down, 1st and 10 at the 33-yard line. All right, I backfield. Jason Sovereign, number 30, split to the top. Terrell Cameron coming around, and he's not going to get to the corner as Rangeview's there to stuff him. It's hard to tell. He lost maybe about a yard and a half or maybe 2 yards. Cameron a little slow, maybe limping. All righty. Here we go now on 2nd down and about 11 yards. Bryce Hedrick calls the play. Brings him to the line. Terrell Cameron lines up in the slot. It's Rob Rosano is the wide to the bottom. Brown and Rogers are your backfield. And I think you're going to have a jump on Rangeview, number 50. Got offsides a little bit early. And that's it. They've got it. And that'll move it down. Still second down, but it'll make it second and about 6. Here comes Eaglecrest. Same formation. Terrell Cameron in the slot. Rob Rosano split to the bottom. Brown and Rogers are your backfield. Hedrick hits up the middle. Bo Rogers. And we were just saying that on that pitch, that option football, you have to cover each and every one of those guys. Bo Rogers, the fullback, now a couple of nice plays. And he moves the Raptors deep inside Rangeview territory. And the Raptors are threatening again. Rogers comes out. Jason McQueen comes in.
First down, Raptors from the Rangeview 15.
And the Raptors are in business at the 15-yard line for Rangeview. Hedrick brings them up to the line. Jason McQueen split bottom. Terrell Cameron in the slot. Brown is your I-back. And Bryce Hedrick holds it. He's got some time. He's got a receiver out there. Oh, I tell you what, Jason McQueen made a good effort diving back for that ball. Good coverage by Rangeview's number 22 there, Marcus Stanton, however. So that'll bring up third down and 10. Second down and 10, excuse me. I'm getting ahead of myself. Rob Rosano brings in the play. Bryce Hedrick calls. Bring it up to the line. Rosano splits up to the top. Brown and Rogers still your backfield. Hedrick takes a look at the defense. He gets the snap, and he hands it to Damian Brown. Brown forward for about 3 or 4 yards. It can't see through the pile there.
4 yards.
And that'll bring up 3rd and 6. The Raptors would like to get some points here, maybe put this ball game away a little bit early. Let's see if Rangeview's able to answer the call. Jason McQueen brings in the play. Bryce Hedrick gives the call to everybody. McQueen splits out tied to the top.
3rd and 7.
That's number 87, Mark Moon, who caught a touchdown right before the end of the first half. Is the tight end down on the end. And Eaglecrest jumped off sides there. So that'll move the ball back. Eaglecrest will be looking about 3rd and 12 now. Let's see if they stick with the same player. Perhaps the Eaglecrest coaching staff wants to bring in something else.
Eaglecrest. Delay game.
And now Rob Rosano brings in the new play. Bryce Hedrick gives the call to everybody.
3rd and 12.
Damian Brown and number 30,
3rd and 12.
Jason Sovereign are your backfield with Brown dotting the I. Terrell Cameron in the slot. He fakes the handoff. Bryce is rolling out. He's got a blocker. He's got a man. Number 87, Mark Moon, had a line on it. But number 31 for Rangeview, Tom Pardykes, has a play, makes the play and breaks it up. Moon was there for a minute, but Hedrick just couldn't deliver it. And here comes Jason Rogers for Eaglecrest. They're going to try the field goal. They're leading 21-13. And these 3 points here can be important because that means Rangeview would have to score at least twice to get back in this ball game. Bryce Hedrick holding now. Jason Rogers gets set up. Rangeview's bringing the rush. Gets the snap back, gets it down clean, and it's long enough. And it's good. Jason Rogers boots the field goal to put up Eaglecrest 24-13. All righty. Eaglecrest, another impressive offensive drive. They stalled a little bit down inside, but they still managed to come up with 3 points for the field goal, 24-13. And now they'll let the Raptor defense see what they can do. Rangeview's not had much offensive success in this second half. They need to get something rolling as the clock is still running. 6:19 left in the third quarter. Rangeview needs some points on this drive, I think. And you've got Courtney Goodgain, Marcus Stanton, Chris Murray back there. Randy Martin, and Chris Murray back. Receive the kickoff for Rangeview. Jason Rogers, number 12 for Eaglecrest, gets ready to put a foot into it. Waits for the signal for the referee. He gets the whistle, and here we go. Gets a good kick. That's number 20, Chris Murray. He's got a line, but he's also got an awful lot of black shirts. He gets to the corner. He's turning it upfield. Tell you what, Jason Rogers, the kicker, came over and was able to push Chris Murray out, but he had a line upfield. He had some blockers the other way, but cut back against the grain and tried to run it up the Eaglecrest sideline. All right, here we go. Marvin Jones leads the offensive troops for Rangeview onto the field. He'll start at his own 34-yard line. 1st and 10, here comes Rangeview. That's number 21, Rodney Smith, split to the bottom. Number 80, Matt Whetstone, and I can't tell the other number, split to the top of your screen. Jones under center. Play action. Boy, I tell you, he fumbled. And it looks like Eaglecrest recovered. I tell you what, Eaglecrest got good pressure from the backside, and they blindsided Marvin Jones, and Marvin fumbles the ball. Eaglecrest recovers. They're going to be in business at their own 36-yard line. The defense stepping up to the challenge now, as well as the offense. The offense without much rest, but boy, they like that situation. Eaglecrest proving they're as explosive on defense as they are on offense. They get the ball right back. 1st and 10 at the 36. Here come the Raptors. Bryce back, he's looking. Screen out to the left. Bo Rogers has it. He's got blockers. He gets away from 1, 2, 3 tackles. He gets down to the 25. I tell you what, Bo Rogers eluded 1 tackle and then just plain ran through a couple more on his way down to the 25-yard line. And I think now the size factor for Eaglecrest is coming into play. Rangeview, as I told you, does not have a lot of great size. Eaglecrest, of course, has a good-sized offensive line, and it looks like some of these Rangeview defenders are getting a little bit tired. Wow, they're going to call that 11 yards and the 1st down. They take a minute to move the chains. Bo Rogers, Damian Brown, your backfield still. Rob Rosano and Jason Sovereign are the wides top and bottom. Pitch out to Damian Brown. He's got an alley and a blocker. Watch out. Here he goes. Boy, I tell you what, he had an alley out there and a whole lot of green AstroTurf in front of him, plus Bo Rogers leading as a blocker. One of the Rangeview defenders is able to come up and break it up a little bit. Number 1, Brent Bailey for Rangeview limps off. I hope he's all right. Looks like he is. One of the trainers from Rangeview helping him off the field. Mark Moon and Jason McQueen come in now. McQueen brings the play and splits out to the top of the screen. Moon will be the tight on the bottom. Rogers and Brown still your backfield. Terrell Cameron in the slot. Bryce gets the snap. He fakes the pitch, brings it back to Terrell Cameron on the misdirection. Watch out! He's in! Touchdown! I tell you what, Terrell Cameron, I mentioned that maybe Rangeview had been able to diagnose that misdirection play, but they didn't have a clue that time. Terrell Cameron out of his slot back position, and he just rumbles through the Rangeview defense on the way in for the touchdown. And I think that's got to be about all she wrote for Rangeview. We'll have to see if they answer the bell now. Eaglecrest goes up 30-13. Jason Rogers hopes to add the extra point here, 31. Bryce Hedrick will have the hold. He gets the snap back and down clean. It's long, and it's good. I tell you, Jason Rogers been Mr. Automatic so far in this ball game as he drills the extra point to put up the Raptors 31-13 over the visiting Rangeview Raiders on what turned out to be a pretty nice homecoming Saturday. All righty, we're back for the kickoff now. Jason Rogers gets into the ball, and he gets it to number 20 over the head and into the end zone. The Raiders will take over the ball at their own 20, but they trail 31-13. And I tell you what, the second half has been all Eaglecrest so far. Both sides of the ball, the Raptors are dominating offense and defense. Let's see if Rangeview can answer the bell now. Jones leads the troops out onto the field. And Bo Rogers' performance so far has been great. And it's equally great because he plays on both sides of the ball. He's in there as a defensive back, playing back at the safety position. Here come the Raiders. Jones under center, 2 backs in the field, 1 split wide to the top. Jones gets the snap, and he pitches, hands it off to number 25, Randy Martin. First one through the hole. He gets ahead for a couple. That'll bring up second and about 7 or 8. And the Eaglecrest defense showing they can play as well as this high-powered offense. Bring up second and 6 for Rangeview. Jones breaks the Raiders out of the huddle, brings them to the line. Matt Whetstone split to the bottom. Jones waits for the snap. He gets it. Quarterback sneak. He gets it up over the 30. I thought for a minute he might be able to break that outside, but the Eaglecrest defense pretty alert and just stuffs it up. Travis Noble, number 44, there to stop Marvin Jones. And that'll give Rangeview about 3rd and 5 to work with. Brian Pritchard brings the play in. Jones gets the call to everybody. Raiders break the huddle and come up to the line. Brian Pritchard split to the bottom. That's number 33, Brian Pryor, split down in the slot with him. 2 backs in the backfield. Jones waits for the snap. He gets it. Runs play action. He's looking to pass. Number 85, Matt Whetstone, is out there. I take that back. That's Chuck Johnson out there. But he's well short of the first down. And that'll bring up 4th and about 4. And it looks like Jones is back to punt. With under 3 minutes left in the 3rd quarter, here comes the Rangeview punt team. And Bo Rogers and Jamie Knapp will be back. Rogers with the up man, and Knapp will be back. Jones gets the snap, gets a punt, a high kick. It's going to hit. It's going to take a Rangeview bounce. Jamie Knapp gets under it. He gets a handle on it now. He's got a lane. He's got blockers. And a flag comes flying in. I think you're going to see a clip called on the Raptors. That'll back them up a little bit. And I think you're going to see a clip here. That'll back up the Raptors a little bit. But so far, the way things have been going for their offense, nothing seems to bother these guys. And that's what it is a clip. And they back it up all the way to the Eaglecrest. Well, let's see. The referee's marching it off now. He'll back it up to about the 9 or 10 yard line. And I can't really tell. It looks like Eaglecrest will start on their own 10-yard line. And here come the Raptors once again, ladies and gentlemen. Bryce Hedrick still in the game. Bo Rogers, Damian Brown are your backfield. And they hand it off to Damian Brown. He gets to the pile. He cuts back and still heads upfield for more yards. I tell you what, you really got to put 2 and 3 hits on this guy and really wrap up, or he's slippery. He'll get away. Tempers flaring up a little bit there. I think you might have an unsportsmanlike conduct call here. Rangeview getting a little tired, and then people get angry, and some unkind words are said. Well, they're going to call that against Eaglecrest here. All right, let's see what the penalty does then. It's going to negate a nice gain by Damian Brown. And the referees march it back. And it looks like it's going to go back to where they started at the 10-yard line. All right, that'll give them 2nd and about 11 yards to work with. Here comes Bryce Hedrick in the Raptor offense. Rob Rosano split to the top of your screen. Rogers and Brown in the backfield. Bryce keeps. He's looking downfield. He's got good protection. Mark Moon, number 87, had a chance to go up and get the ball. A little bit too tall, and it goes incomplete. That'll bring up 3rd and about 11 yards. As the Rangeview coaching staff, Kurt Cranch, the head coach over there, gets the defensive personnel he wants in and out of the game. Here comes Jason McQueen with the play for the Raptors. Out comes 87, Mark Moon. Rob Rosno, 81, comes into the game. Bryce brings the Raptors up to the field. He takes a look at the Rangeview defense. He calls the signals. He's under center. He gets the snap, and he hands it to Bo Rogers up the middle. Rogers has got some room. Bo Rogers all the way up to the 26-yard line. Bo Rogers all of a sudden becoming the hot back for Eaglecrest as he's had a couple nice gains. And that's just a defensive problem from Rangeview. You got to cover the first man through the hole. And Bryce calls the play again. McQueen will split out up top. Mark Moon back in the ball game. Brown and Rogers still your backfield. Bryce Hedrick calls the signals. Hands it off to Damian Brown. Damian Brown gets the corner. He cuts it back inside. He keeps rumbling forward. Another first down for Eaglecrest. I tell you what, this Eaglecrest offensive machine is just grinding up the Rangeview Raiders at this point. That's going to be another first down for Eaglecrest. They've got about a half dozen of those so far in this second half. Bryce brings them to the line. Rob Rosano split down. Mark Moon back into the game, tied in. Terrell Cameron in the slot. Rogers and Brown still your backfield. Bryce Hedrick calls the signals. Hedrick gets the ball. Hands it to Terrell Cameron, coming around on that misdirection again. Cameron ahead. Boy, and I tell you what, Terrell Cameron took a couple of Raiders with him for a ride as he rumbles ahead for about 14 yards. There's a flag, though, and that's back where you see a holding call a lot. And that'd be too bad because that was a heck of a run by Terrell Cameron. That misdirection play, they bring him from the slot, run him away from pressure, and he gets out in that field. He can really run. And they're marching it back against Eaglecrest. That's too bad. That was a nice run for Terrell Cameron. That's going to put the Raptors back. It's going to be about first and 20, it looks like. They have 20 yards to go about. Hedrick breaks the huddle, brings the Raptors to the line. 42 seconds left in this third quarter. That's Jason Sovereign split to the bottom. Hedrick looking to pass. He's got that screen. Terrell Cameron gets blockers. He's going. He keeps going. 2 and 3. I tell you what, Terrell Cameron showing that he's every bit as much of the running back on this team as Damian Brown as he breaks 2 and 3 tackles as he rumbles forward for a nice gain on the screen pass. Jason McQueen brings the play in now. Hedrick calls the signals, brings him out. Jason McQueen split to the top, Mark Moon to the bottom. Brown and Rogers of the backfield, Terrell Cameron in the slot. And they hand it to Damian Brown around. No, they don't. It's reverse again, that misdirection play. Terrell Cameron, this time number 55 for Rangeview. Keith Wright sniffed it out, and that'll end the third quarter. Eaglecrest leads 31-13. We'll be back with fourth quarter action. All right, welcome back to the Studler Bowl for the fourth quarter of this Eaglecrest homecoming football game against the Rangeview Raiders. Bryce Hedrick gets the snap. He's rolling out. He's going to keep this ball. He's got some room to run. He heads upfield, and he gets knocked out at about the 46-yard line of Rangeview. There's a flag. It might have been a little bit of a late hit on the sidelines there. Hedrick was ahead for the first down. We'll see what the call is. Boy, I tell you what, Eaglecrest gets the call for clipping. They've had 2 or 3 on this series that they've had to bring back, an unsportsmanlike, a holding, and now a clipping. So that negates a nice run by Bryce Hedrick. That'll put the ball all the way back at the 36-yard line of Eaglecrest. Give them third and a whole lot of green AstroTurf to work with here. Third and about 13 or 14, it looks like. It's hard to tell from this angle. Jason McQueen brings in the play. McQueen will split to the top of your screen. Brown and Rogers and Terrell Cameron are the slot back. Bryce is back. He's looking. He's got time. He's going deep. Terrell Cameron is down there. I tell you what. Holy cow. Terrell Cameron. He was down there, and Bryce Hedrick just threw the ball up, and Terrell Cameron looked more like a center fielder catching a fly ball on that pass. as he came back a little bit, caught the ball, and was able to add a couple extra yards. And then I think a late hit by Rangeview is going to tack on some more. Boy, I tell you what, Terrell Cameron has been exciting in this second half. We'll see what the call is here. Wow, they're calling it against Eaglecrest. I thought it was a late hit. They might be saying that Cameron pushed off. Boy, and the Eaglecrest homecoming crowd does not like that call. Illegal use of the hands is the call. That brings the Raptors back.
First down Raptors from the Rangeview 31.
That's going to put Eaglecrest in business at the 31. Loss of about 10 yards. Rob Rosano splits to the bottom here. Hedrick hands off. Bo Rogers again, I tell you what. You got to account for every man on that option play. And Bo Rogers, being the first man through the hole from that fullback position, has done a nice job on a couple of gains here. And he rumbles down inside Rangeview territory even further. He moves the ball all the way down to about the 14-yard line, 13-yard line for Eaglecrest. And they're threatening again, up 31-13. Momentum definitely on Eaglecrest's side, even though they've had some penalties. Jason McQueen split bottom, Rob Rosano split top. Bryce Hedrick under center. He's back. He's looking to pass. He's got Cameron in the flat. And he finds Mark Moon in the back of the end zone. And he throws a bullet right on the numbers. Touchdown. Check that. Check that. That was Rob Rosano on the touchdown reception. Not Mark Moon. 81 looked like an 87 for a minute. I tell you what, he was all alone in the back of the end zone, and Bryce Hedrick just delivers a bullet to put Eaglecrest up 37-13 with 10:43 left in the game. Jason Rogers back, and he drills the extra point. Mr. Automatic, Jason Rogers, put the Raptors up 38-13. 10:43 left in this ball game. The Raptors are rolling. All right, we're back as Jason Rogers gets ready to kick off after another Eaglecrest touchdown. And he gets into that one, and that'll be number 20. He's going to let it go out of the back. I tell you what, Jason Rogers having a heck of a day kicking the ball for Eaglecrest. He's put a couple kickoffs out of the end zone. He's been almost automatic as far as the extra points, and he's also got a field goal. All right, let's see if Rangeview's got any fight left in him. Marvin Jones leads them out on the field. And Kirk Krantz gets his personnel into the ball game. Jones calls the signal. Raiders break the huddle. Number 80, Matt Whetstone, split to the bottom. Number 21, Rodney Smith up top. Jones back in the shotgun. They're going to be looking for pass. Here we go. Jones gets the snap. It's a little bit low, but he handles it. He's looking downfield. He swings it out. Couple Eaglecrest Raptors there. Had a chance to wrap up Randy Martin, but he wiggles away and heads upfield. He only gained about 3 or 4 yards, however. So that'll bring up this will bring up second down, about 8 yards to go. Eaglecrest defense doing a heck of a job today, especially in this second half. They've really shut down this potent Rangeview attack. That's number 84, Brian Pritchard, split to the bottom. Jones in the shotgun again. He hands draw Randy Martin. Randy Martin's got a lane. And that's a good call by the Rangeview coach, Kurt Krantz. He knows Raptors are looking for the pass, and he runs the sprint draw to Randy Martin up the middle. Matt Whetstone for Rangeview brings in the play. Jones passes it on. And here come the Raiders. They've got first down at the 31-yard line. Jones back in shotgun again. Whetstone split bottom. Jones looking to pass. He's got some pressure. He runs away from it. He's got to get rid of it in a hurry. And Chris Murray catches the pass up to about the 36-yard line, and a flag comes flying in. Somebody might have reached around on a face mask, it looks like. And there's a Rangeview player down. All right, we'll send it to 38-13. Rangeview leads. We'll be back. Amateur sports video. We're video. All righty, we're back as Ron Lawhorn for Rangeview goes off the field on the injury. Marvin Jones brings the Raiders up to the line. He's back in shotgun. He's got 3 wides to the top of your screen. He gets the snap, and he's looking for number 25, Randy Martin, on the screen. He's got blockers. He gets to the corner, and then he gets swarmed under by the Eaglecrest defense. And he gained a couple yards there, but it's still going to be second down and about 13, it looks like, for the Raiders. They move the ball up to the 28-yard line. And we'll see what Rangeview coach Kurt Krantz has in mind for Eaglecrest now. Matt Whetstone, number 80, split to the bottom. Number 22, Marcus Stanton. And Jones back in shotgun. He gets the snap. He's back. He's looking pass. He's got some time. And he finds number 22. He's got some good room, and he's ahead for the first down. Marcus Stanton doing a nice job getting ahead for the first down. This, however, may be a case of too little too late, though, as the Rangeview Raiders find themselves down 38-13, and that clock keeps running. We're almost under 8 minutes now. It's 8:10. As the Raiders break the huddle, come to the line. Matt Whetstone to the bottom. Number 22, Marcus Stanton, split down. And a wide up to the top. Jones back in shotgun again. He gets the snap. It's a little bit low. And he's going deep down to number 84. Oh, and I tell you what. Eaglecrest, Trey Miller had a chance at an interception over there. Does a good job of just breaking up the pass. And that'll force fourth down for the Raiders. And it looks like the Raiders are going for it, as we're under 8 minutes in this ball game. The Raiders break the huddle and come up to the line now. Matt Whetstone, Marcus Stanton, Rodney Smith, split top. And they're going to run that. I'm not exactly sure what that was. They might have snapped it quick to one of the upbacks. Whatever it was, it didn't do too much. They got up to about the 40-yard line. I don't believe I've seen that play. They did get it to Marvin Jones. I thought he was back in the shotgun, so they run the quarterback sneak on 4th down. And we'll see if they got the first down or not. Referees want a minute to measure. They're still deciding. They're asking the Rangeview players to move back so they can get the chains on the field for the measurement. And here come the chains to see if Rangeview gets another set of downs. It's going to be close, I've got a feeling. And Rangeview got the first down by about the length of the football. So Rangeview gets new life and 4 more downs at the 41-yard line, their own 41-yard line, as we're at 7:45 left in this ball game. Jones breaks the huddle and brings the Raiders up. That's Brian Pritchard to the bottom, Marcus Stanton and Randy Martin and Chris Murray. All receivers on this one for Rangeview. Jones under center. He runs the quick hitter to Marcus Stanton. Stanton gets ahead across the 50. That may be a first down. Looks like he got to about the 48-yard line of Eaglecrest. That'll be a first down. And so the Raiders get 4 more downs here as Marcus Stanton is able to get ahead for 10 yards on the quick hitter. Matt Whetstone will be split to the bottom. That's Rodney Smith up to the top of your screen, number 21. Jones going under center, not using the shotgun formation. He gets the snap. He hands it off to Randy Martin. And Martin finds nothing but black shirts on that side of the ball. Eaglecrest pushes him back. I think he might have lost about a yard. Martin a little slow getting up. limping a little bit.
Injured player on the field.
And there's an Eaglecrest player down as well. All right, we'll go to a timeout. Eaglecrest leads 38-13. All right, we're back at the Studler Bowl. Rangeview in Eaglecrest territory, but the Raptors still hold the lead, 38-13, as Marvin Jones brings his troops up to the field, up to the line of scrimmage. Matt Whetstone split to the bottom of your screen. Jones under center. Jones gets the snap. He's looking past. He keeps it himself. He pitches it. It's on the ground. And number 2, Courtney Goodgain, does all he can to cover that ball. That's the problem with running the option. If you get that pitch too deep, the defense has a chance to get there and stuff it. And the Eaglecrest Raptor defense did a good job there, sniffing out the option and snuffing it down. So that'll set Rangeview up at 3rd down and about 13 yards, it looks like. They're back inside their own territory at the 48-yard line. Matt Whetstone to the bottom, number 22, Marcus Stanton, and number 20, Chris Murray, are the wides to the bottom. Marvin Jones in shotgun. He gets the snap. He's looking deep. He lets go of the ball. There's number 21. And I tell you what, Bo Rogers for Eaglecrest and Trey Miller break that pass up. Number 21, Brent Bailey. Rodney Smith, I'm sorry, check that. Rodney Smith for Rangeview was down there. But Bo Rogers and Trev Miller break it up. And that'll bring up 4th down for the Raiders. And I would imagine with 5:34 and losing 38-13, they're going to go for it here. Jones brings them up. Rodney Smith to the bottom. Jones back in shotgun. He takes a look at the D. Courtney Goodgain in motion now. Gets a low snap. He handles it. He's got some time. Oh, and I tell you what, that was in and out of the hands of Rodney Smith. He had a chance on it. So the Raptors will take over on 4th down. It'll be a Raptor 1st down at the 48-yard line. And I would imagine now with 5:30 left in the ball game, we'll see some of the starters getting a chance to take a break as they get some of the backups for this Eaglecrest football team some game time. And Rob Pentark brings them up. Bryce Hedrick getting the chance to take it off. Damian Brown still in the ball game, and they hand it off to him. And Damian Brown ahead for a good gain to about the 44-yard line. Jason McQueen brings in the play. Damian Brown comes out now. Getting a rest after a good ball game today, I tell you. He's done it all for this Eaglecrest team. And so your new backfield will be number 30, Jason Sovereign, and number 35, Dan Duran. And Sovereign gets the ball, and he gets upfield to about the 37-yard line.
Play is good for 5 yards.
And Terrell Cameron's still in the ball game for the Raptors.
3rd and 1 from the Rangeview
Rob Rosino brings the play in to Rob Penark, the new quarterback for Eaglecrest. He gets settled under center. He gets the snap, and he hands it off to Terrell Cameron, running the misdirection. Watch out. Terrell Cameron all the way down to the 20-yard line of Rangeview. Penark just, again, running that misdirection play with Terrell Cameron that's been so effective for the Raptors all day long. They get another big gain. And here we go.
Ball is on the Rangeview 21-yard line.
Chris Vogelstong brings the play in for the Eaglecrest Raptors. And he splits out top. Rob Rosino splits to the bottom of your screen. Rob Pinchinark. And he throws it to Jason Sovereign. Sovereign to the corner, and he finds a lot of white shirts there. He got ahead for a couple. That'll bring up 2nd and about 7 for the Eaglecrest Raptors. And I believe the new quarterback for Eaglecrest, Rob Pentark, is how you say that. Anyway, he's being pretty effective running the Raptor offense so far. Rob is a sophomore. Good size. 6'1", 160. And this is how you build quality programs. You let some of these younger guys get time at the varsity level, and that way they've got some time to do some of the things. And here we go. And they run up the middle, hand it off to that first man through the hole, the fullback. Dan Duran on that carry there. And so Eaglecrest, Mark Moon, Rob Rosano come into the game. They get the play to Pentark. And Pentark gets the play to the offense. And here come the Raptors as we close in on the 3-minute mark left in this ball game. And they hand it to number 80. Jason McQueen coming back through the hole on a misdirection play again. And because of the long delay game, because of the rain and the hail, some of the fans for the Smoky Hill game, which is supposed to take place here right after the Eaglecrest game, are starting to show up now. And these Buffs will face the Eaglecrest Raptors later in the season. They're getting an early look at them. And Pentark brings him up to the line. And he hands it. I tell you what, touchdown, Eaglecrest. They had everybody who were confused on that. Dan Duran runs the gap. First back through the hole, and Dan Duran gets a touchdown for himself. And Eaglecrest takes a big lead now. 44-13 over Rangeview. All righty, here we go now. The extra point, Jason Rogers will be on. He's been Mr. Automatic so far on PATs this year. And with 2:23 left in the ball game, the Eaglecrest Raptors should have something to celebrate at their homecoming dance tonight, as they have a 44-13 lead over the Rangeview Raiders. All righty, we're back. And Eaglecrest, in an attempt not to run up the score anymore, falls on the ball rather than go for the conversion. But they still lead 44-13. And we are at 2:23 left in the ball game. Eaglecrest is rolling really in this second half. They came out, and sometimes you worry after a long delay because of the rain and the hail that you'll come out a little bit flat. But I think for Rangeview, it gave them a chance to figure out some of the things that confused them on the Rangeview side of the ball. And Eaglecrest diagnosed those during the break, and these guys came out fired up, and they've delivered a nice 44-13 score so far for this big homecoming crowd. One of the bigger crowds I've seen at a high school football game this year. So Jason Rogers gets ready to kick it off. As Eaglecrest comes onto the, Eaglecrest is already on the field. Rangeview comes onto the field. And we'll see if Rangeview's got any fight left, as they are down 44-13. Jason Rogers gets a signal from the official. He gets a foot into it. And he gets it to number 20, Randy Martin for Rangeview. Chris Murray make that. And Murray gets it upfield, where he's introduced to about half of the Raptor defense. So here comes Rangeview. Marvin Jones leads the Raiders out onto the field. They'd like to get a score here to make this respectable, I think. They're going to throw the ball, I'm sure of it. Check that. They've decided to insert number 11. Dustin Neal for Rangeview is going to handle the quarterbacking duties. And you got Rodney Smith split to the bottom. Dustin Neal gets the snap. And he hands it off. Rangeview ahead for a nice gain up to the 25-yard line. Tom Perdike gets the call as we're now under 2 minutes in this ball game at 1:40. And at this point, it looks like the Eaglecrest Raptors will go to a 3-0 undefeated start, while the Rangeview Raiders fall to 0-3. All right, Dustin Neal brings them up to the line again. He's under center. He gets the snap. He's got two backs in the backfield with him. And he hands off to the first guy. And number 50 for Eaglecrest. Tyson Golding right there to shut it down. That'll bring up second and about 10 as the Raiders try and get something going now. They've got about a minute left. Dustin Neal brings them up to the line. Jeremy Cogden split to the bottom. And Neal looking to pass. He keeps the ball and he finds himself sacked. Number 78 for Eaglecrest. It looks like Shelton Guerin Shelton with the sack. That'll make it 3rd and 13 for Rangeview as they've got 30 seconds left in the ball game. Look for Dustin Neal, maybe just air it out a little bit, throw it downfield. Neal gets the signals to everybody. A lot of new faces in it for Rangeview. Wants to make sure everybody knows what they're doing. Neal brings them up to the line now. He's under center. And he takes the snap. He gets ready to take the snap. Here it is. Dustin Neal keeps looking back. He feels pressure. He throws it up. Number 56 for Rangeview, Eaglecrest, Earl Corney. There's 2 seconds left on the clock. Rangeview will get one last shot to do something. But the Eaglecrest defense at this point has really solved the Rangeview mystery. They had some problems early in the first half, but this second half has been all Eaglecrest on both sides of the ball. Here we go now. Dustin Neal gets the call to the play, gets the play into the guys. Raiders break the huddle. Here comes Dustin Neal. He's got one wide out, 2 in the backfield. He calls the signals. He takes the snap. He's back. He's looking for a pass. And he throws it downfield. Incomplete. There's a flag. The game can't end on a defensive penalty, so if this is against Eaglecrest, we'll get one more play. And I think they're going to call it a ball game. Although I haven't seen an official call yet. It can't end on a defensive penalty, remember now. All right, here we go. Here we go. Let's see. They're calling it pass interference, so Rangeview will get one more shot from the 37-yard line. Dustin Neal will have one more chance to air it out downfield. And almost an entire new team on the field for Rangeview. Neal gets the call. He tells everybody the play. He breaks the huddle. Neal under center. No time on the clock now. This will be it regardless unless there's another defensive penalty. Neal gets the snap. And he finds nothing but Eaglecrest Raptors. Number 58, Alex Cogden shooting in for the sack. And that's the ball game. Eaglecrest rolls 44-13 on a homecoming Saturday. And it should be a rocking time in the Raptor Gym tonight at the homecoming dance as the Raptors dominate the second half of the ball game and roll 44-13. For Eric Robinson and Amateur Sports Production, I'm Matt Cook. Hope you enjoyed the game as much as we did, and we'll see you next week.
You should have seen the hail on the field earlier.